There's a new leader taking over the investigation into Russia's election meddling. The Justice Department has appointed former FBI Director Robert Mueller as special counsel.
Mueller led the FBI for 12 years under Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He'll operate independently from congressional inquiries. President Trump tweeted about the special counsel appointment this morning, writing, "With all of the illegal acts that took place in the Clinton campaign and Obama administration, there was never a special counsel appointed." The spelling of counsel is his own. This is the single greatest witch hunt of a politician in American history. Jeff Pegues is in Washington and joins us now. So, Jeff, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein used to argue that a special counsel was not needed. He changed course yesterday with Mueller's appointment. Explain his reasoning and the timing of it and how the White House was informed.
Well, it's clear that that memo that came from Comey about this meeting in February 14th to be exact, between then FBI Director James Comey and the president was the final straw here. This was the memo in which Comey alleges that the president pressed him to shut down the Flynn investigation. And so that was a story that broke earlier this week, and that was the final straw here that pushed DOJ, specifically the Deputy Attorney General who is leading this investigation now, that the Attorney General had to recuse himself because of his contacts with the Russian ambassador. And I know it's confusing, but that's where we are with this. There is a lot going on in this Russia investigation. But now with a person like Robert Mueller, with his credentials leading this is a big development in this investigation, because you have someone who is highly regarded in Washington, and he will be leading this investigation at this point, and he will have the resources, according to DOJ, that he needs to follow leads wherever they may go.
You talked about Mueller's credentials. He served as FBI Director for 12 years. It was James Comey who took over after him. And as I understand it, the two men know each other quite well. Can you give us a little bit more about his background?
Well, yes, he came on after or shortly before the 9/11 attacks, and he served for 12 years, which is unusual for an FBI director, and they had to get special dispensation for him to do that. Typically, the term of an FBI director is 10 years, but he served 12, and that sort of speaks to how highly regarded he is. You talk about independence. There is no one in Washington, certainly, who epitomizes that word more than Robert Mueller. There are people on both sides of the aisle, both Democrats and Republicans, who respect him a great deal. And the rank and file of the FBI respect him a great deal, and that will certainly make a difference as this counterintelligence investigation continues. So he is highly regarded. You can't find anyone around Washington who will say anything negative about Robert Mueller. He's one of those individuals who still maintains high regard among both Democrats and Republicans.
Jeff, Mueller has the authority to pick his team. Are you hearing that current FBI investigators who've been on this case are expected to stay on board?
Well, yeah, that will not be disrupted. This is an investigation which we've heard from the acting director of the FBI that will continue, and that really doesn't change with Mueller leading the charge here in this investigation. Because of his credentials and because he is familiar with how the FBI operates, I would not expect any sort of disruption in the way evidence is being gathered in this case. DOJ has pledged to give him the resources that he needs, and he will need them, because keep in mind, this is an investigation that stretches from the U.S. to Moscow and points in between. So there is a lot going into this investigation, and now with him leading it and his knowledge of investigations and how to prosecute a case, it will continue, no doubt, the way it has. It's just that now he will be the public face of it. And one thing we know about Robert Mueller is that he runs a pretty tight ship. He doesn't address the cameras very often. And so the nature and the tone, if you will, of this investigation will likely change. I'm still sort of kicking around how much this affects the investigation. We'll have to see. But clearly the amount of information coming out of this investigation, well, that might decrease based on his past behavior in terms of dealing with the media.
That would be interesting because we've had so many leaks, as we know. Listen, you know, the president tweeted that he hoped this appointment would bring all this speculation to an end quite rapidly. But I'm wondering, how long do you think this investigation will take? Are we talking about months or maybe even years?
Well, it could, you know, it's definitely going to take months. Years, maybe a year and a half. It is complicated. It is not a run-of-the-mill investigation. Keep in mind, the FBI is investigating Russian interference in the election, as well as whether the Trump campaign and people associated with the Trump campaign coordinated with the Russians. So part of this investigation is gathering information from Moscow. And, you know, that is difficult for these FBI agents. They just can't show up in Moscow and ask questions. So part of the challenge here is gathering information that you can use as evidence in a case to prosecute a case in a court of law. And like the intelligence agencies, the FBI, which typically does not operate like this, they will have to confirm some of this information and put it on a scale between low confidence, moderate confidence, and high confidence. That's typically the way the intelligence community operates. And so because of where some of this information is coming from, it makes this case really complicated. And so it's going to take time. And now you have the special counsel coming in, and there will be some transition time there. It will take time. But we already knew from our law enforcement sources that they were only midstream in this investigation. It started last July. And so no one was telling us before this occurred that this was going to be something that was open and shut pretty quickly. This is going to take time.
Jeff Pegues, thank you so much.